Good evening, everybody. Greetings. Salam. Hope you're doing well. And welcome to the online talks from Pranic Healing Ethiopia team. This is the second talk of this series. And on behalf of the Pranic Healing team of Ethiopia, I would like to welcome all of you for the session today. Those joining us on Zoom, and of course, those watching on Facebook Live. So today we have a very special speaker. He's a person whom I've known recently, but it feels like we know each other for quite some time, because we tend to click and we tend to understand each other in the language of energy. So his name is Yoftahe, and he is more commonly known as Happy. And you'll see very soon once he comes on screen why he's known as Happy. He's a very happy guy. So before we leave the floor to him, I would just quickly introduce him because I think he has a very interesting background and something which really inspires me personally. So Happy is actually the founder and the CEO of what is known as the Cool Holistic Developmental Center in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. He is a well-being entrepreneur and with a mix of his two professions because he's also an architect and he's a certified yoga and meditation instructor, as well as personal excellence training. So what he does is he blends his strong passion for life and he prefers to call himself what you know as the self-engineer. Reminds me a little bit of, Master Chwakok Sui, the founder of Pranic Healing, who was known as the scientist of the soul or, energy master in a way. So he has a lot of insight on optimizing and engineering very complex and powerful technologies with regards to the human mechanism, essentially to bring more happiness, to bring more well-being, and to help people. So his organization in Ethiopia does a lot of work, especially what I've seen with the youth in, empowering them and giving them the skills, the joy, the happiness to be able to lead a more fruitful and successful life. He has also represented Ethiopia and Africa in various international events around the world, conferences on yoga, on holistic living, and basically human development. He has also appeared on the TEDx show, various platforms like African Union, International Radio, TV. So he's a very well-rounded speaker, and today he'll be talking about essentially how emotions affect us, our energy field, but from a scientific perspective, which I think is very, very interesting. So thank you once again, Happy, for joining us. Thank you for being here, and I'm going to hand over the mic to you and the floor to you. So once again, welcome. So just give me a second as I hand over the
Am I audible? Great. Hi, everyone. Happy new morning, happy new afternoon, happy new evening, wherever you are in your timeline. Happy here, aka Yoftahe. I'm pretty much excited and thank you for the elaborate, heartwarming introduction, Gautam. And I'm pretty much happy to be here, and from wherever I am, sharing this knowledge and then skills that I've been practicing, that I'm passionate to learn more on, and as well something that I feel like that we co-create together from wherever we are. And today we focus on basically our essential aspects that drives us on this planet as we live, emotions and feelings at one basic level, and how those relate with our laws from outside and inside, so the natural laws that really affect our day-to-day activities and engagement. So we try to blend the science aspect of it to a very subtler aspect of how we can really go in and out as we share, as we create, as well as we upgrade our, say, emotional faculties. So I somehow call it emotional engineering meeting with our chemical engineering aspect of our practices or our existence in a way. So I have a small presentation or a slide format that I will be sharing in the process in between. So that will be partly how the session is going to go for the next 30 minutes. And let me know if my voice is not audible so that I can see. Maybe Gautam will help me with this if there are people who may not listen to me as well. So essentially, I will start today's session with one of my favorite quotes by Nikola Tesla. Actually, I have it also this on the screen share so that we can keep tuned together. Let me just share that. Great. I hope it's visible for everyone. Good. So as you see, one of like my favorite quotes is put well there. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. So I feel there are so many languages on this planet Earth that humanity is communicating with, and there are categories or levels or cultures or societies which have different language per se to communicate. But I believe we all, not only being human beings on this planet, but also every living being, somehow communicate at this subtler language of energy, as we call it, vibration or frequency. So it's essentially somehow deals with how we as human beings, as a life form on this planet, relate with this vibrational frequency energy state that is within us, around us, and everything else in a sense. So that will be partly what the session tries to cover around. So I will also borrow another quote from maybe another scientist for expansion of physics or physical sciences as well as energetic sciences on the planet, maybe in the past century or decade. And that is Albert Einstein, who really puts this so that it's not anymore a philosophical thing. Because when you speak of energy, when you speak of frequency, when you speak of these subtler realities, a lot of people can relate them with different sort of philosophies, different sorts of ideologies. But essentially, this is like real physics that is affecting everything. So my background at one level is architecture, which is pretty much having a scientific base of the physical laws. For a builder, for someone who builds buildings, gravity is essentially one aspect of physical law that they should abide to or they should understand with. So at the same level, understanding the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry, the laws of biology, not just as a knowledge process, but also as a practical day-to-day engagement that we all have, makes us take a step or take a leap in our living process as well. So that's why I borrowed another quote from Einstein. So maybe this slide tries to cover some essential aspects of reality that relates with the human being, or that relates with how our holistic system is somehow wired. So as we mentioned earlier as well, like everything can be related or can essentially be labeled as a vibrating process or a complex. That same way applies to a human being. So this body that I'm using, the table that I'm putting this laptop on, the voice that I'm speaking with, the mat that I practice yoga with, the chair that I'm sitting on, essentially has a vibrational state or a frequency in it that makes it like happen or appear here, that I can be able to use it in a way. So everything essentially has a process of frequency, which at the physiological or the physical level is being expressed as electrical process. So I usually say when I teach yoga or meditation classes, we are also electrical beings beside our anatomical existence or physiological body or our chemical processes, endocrine, hormonal processes. We also are fundamentally electrical beings where a lot of electrical process happens. Just to pull another scientific element, like think how much of a volt does a cell has. Like we have tons of cells or close to like 50 trillion cells as the scientists put it. So every cell that is building this human complex has a volt. Actually, they say about 1.4 volt exists or is there, is generated by every living cell in our system, which means if you multiply it by 50 trillion cells, we at any given time has like about 70 trillion volts of energy in a way, which makes us like an electrical factory if you put it. So there is a whole lot of electrical processes that are running through, and every cell is somehow designed to process an electrical impulse in and out, to and from, through the nervous system, through our neurons, through our nerve impulses. So essentially, that is one aspect of how we understand ourselves at the basic level of electrical, vibrational, and frequency states of existence. So usually some of these things were not really tapped or known before, until some of the scientific methodologies somehow brought the mainstream. Of course, ancient yogis, sages, or any serious student that goes within or that pays attention to really understand what is happening in this human physiology, human anatomy, human biochemical processes, they somehow understand these things. But for a whole lot of people, some of these things may not be like easily graspable or tangible. Just to put a case, humanity at the general level didn't believe about microorganisms or germs per se. And until we developed what we call microscope to really see what is happening even on our hand, we have like a lot of germs or bacteria or many like microorganisms, some of them beneficial of course, but until we were able to see them with a zoom or with a microscope, we were not really believing about them. The same thing, these energetical things that we are coming across, that we're studying, can be measured with tools. So usually these two tools are used in terms of measuring these electrical impulses. One is the ECG or the EKG as they call it, the electrocardiogram, and the other is the EEG, the electroencephalogram. Usually when you see movies, maybe you have seen people having wires in their body and they may be lying on bed, and then you have a screen by the side which somehow showcases the impulses, the electrical processes in the person, in the human system. So you can sense these things. Usually the heart and the brain has different sets of electrical impulses. Which one do you think is more strong? Where do you think is more electrical impulses happen? So this is like a second for you, just at least to have the question addressed within yourself. So essentially, from different findings and studies. If you also are curious about this, you can go to Heart Math Institute. This is a big organization who's invested in terms of the level of quantifiable states of the human heart process. So the heart is found to be more stronger in terms of electromagnetic processes as well as waves. So that's why sometimes I used to feel uh, like dilemmatic or sometimes confused. Usually we hear about knowledge being the power, knowledge being the way. So like knowing is making a lot of things change, but you can have a doctor telling you smoking is not good, but you still can find that doctor or maybe many other doctors finding like them smoking themselves, or someone can tell you addiction is not good but they can fall into addiction. So I feel how the heart and the brain or the knowledge relates in one level, basic level, as just knowing something doesn't really make it happen in your day-to-day life unless the emotions, the heart really involved in that process. When there is that communication of your heart and your brain somehow integrates. So here is one powerful communication, which is electrical aspect, where the heart and the brain really communicate with. So the fundamental language, as we put it. So that's why I'm just pulling different elements from this so that we can have the sense, the understanding of how our emotional states can relate with our health as well as with our ability to make some knowledge really viable and making it to really become a wisdom. So that's what makes a knowledge transfer or transcend to a state of wisdom in a way. Good. So adding on, relating with the heart and the lung, we can really relate a whole lot of things in terms of emotions. Uh, as humanity evolves, I feel to a heart-centered generation. That's maybe one thing that I feel humanity is transiting into, because some time back, like body used to be the main thing to go for. Someone who has the muscle really is the one handling a lot of things. And after some time, it became a more of a mental process. So someone who's smart can make people work. So physiology or physicality somehow was transcended by the mental process. And now I feel we're transiting, even smartness or knowing may not be the big element until we go to the heart, until we go to a state of love, a state of compassion, a state of forgiveness, where humanity can transcend from maybe that level of mental knowledge or maybe facts to a state of embracing, to a state of embodiment of this knowledge that we have as wisdom. So heart-centered reality is, I feel, one thing we're transiting as human beings or as a species. So just a little bit of maybe relation to really bring this out there kind of science to really bring it to the human system. So like if you speak of feelings, so these feelings have a mixture of chemicals. We call them peptides or a whole lot of biochemical processes. They travel throughout the body, throughout the brain, to the cellular level to change our chemistry. This is actually something as a finding, as a forwarded by Dr. Candace Pert, who has spent like a lot of years studying the human anatomy, studying the biomolecular changes, studying the electrical aspects of how nerves communicate, body parts communicate, cells communicate as well. So just to bring this maybe to a day-to-day reality of a lot of people or many of us, we can pick like emotions. For example, if we refer anger, what happens when someone is angry? We can see heat rises, temperature change happens. There is change of heart rate. There is change of breathing pattern. There is change of molecular states in terms of the hormonal processes. So a whole lot of change happen just because of an emotion change is there in our system. If you refer to fear, there is a peak of adrenaline. So recently I was having a tour and I was in Thailand and I get to jump from a crane. I was doing the bungee jumping, and I used to be very much interested to do this. I always was curious when I would see myself jumping from this high. It was 15 meters high. And then I was like curious going through the crane. It's like a lift and elevator. Instead of looking at a very far place from where I am, changed my whole chemistry. My adrenaline somehow picked, my heartbeat changed, my breathing pattern changed. And when I just jumped, the whole lot of chemical process was really happening in my system. The pumping of my blood was like apparent. And how a change of state really changes a whole lot of chemical, electrical, biomolecular changes in our system really is apparent, if especially if you pay attention to your states as emotions change. So that's maybe something that brings this idea into a day-to-day state that emotion change our chemical as well as electrical states. So these are like different body scans done from different emotions, or maybe where we feel some of the emotional processes in our system. So when anger happens, you can feel anger maybe from the torso area up. That's why when people have a lot of anger, usually they are easily affected with gastritis or maybe stomach issues, because this anger being recurring, it affects some organs in the system. The same with a whole lot of emotional processes in a way. So you can refer some are negative, but some are positive. So based on the type of emotion, that specific area can be empowered. For example, you can see love around the heart being brighter. So that is affecting our system in a positive way, where anger is affecting our system in a negative way. So the one is empowering where the other is somehow dispowering. Or you can also maybe see depression. It's like the system is shutting down. There is no happening as a state of energy or electrical process as much, which is the person is somehow so low in energy levels. So maybe sometimes making someone depressed run or maybe get even angry or get even excited could be one step ahead that we can do before we make them maybe happy or excited in a way. So different emotions somehow progress us in the level or in a, it's like if you're on the first floor and if there is no elevator, you might as well pass through the third and the fourth floor to go up high. So some emotions which are pretty low may need some activating emotions, some of which may not be even literally positive in a way. So just to show you some aspects of how emotions reach into different parts of the physiology. And this is a maybe small mathematical or maybe quantifiable aspect of how frequencies or waves or vibrations are happening. For example, in a healthy body, so these things are measured in megahertz. The same way vibrational frequencies are measured in hertz, the same happens in our physiological states, or even radio waves are also measured in hertz, or even the phones that we use, the frequencies or the states have a level of hertz or vibration, or hertz is cycles per second. So if you just see an average healthy person, their body, especially from their neck down, they vibrate in a level of 60 to 68 megahertz. So it keeps going up as the person's physiological state boosts or expands. Their brain, when it is functioning at average level, when the brain functions in a very flow state, as they call it, as a genius kind of brain state, that is the frequency that we can see at different levels. So these are some side elements that we can explore. And at the reverse, you can also see how a diseased body, even I'm interested, usually when I teach, this is one word that makes people really like, aha, like even the very word disease came from the word ease, right? So like whenever we are at ease, we are going away from this ease. So that's why these days, when we see the whole media happening, like putting a lot of fear about COVID, people are going away from ease, people are terrified, people are in fear, and that is what it brings them to be more vulnerable, more affected by flu, cold, even COVID itself. So one thing that at least we can do, not to buy or not to add to the whole fearful energy, is at least to make ourselves at ease. And if you want maybe to take it a little further, how can you make one person or two or three so that they can be at ease as well? So that's one thing that we co-create in our environment as well. So maybe adding one maybe additional element in terms of emotion. This can be for a lot of curious students here who want to really explore much about frequencies, emotions. So frequency is or can be like attuned with our different emotional states. So there are a lot of scientists who have invested decades in studying if emotions can be quantified actually. And one of the doctors who really worked a lot on this, if you want to read, is Dr. David Hawkins, a very powerful book titled Power versus Force. Or you can also find other books of scientists who have really studied a lot about frequencies and waves and how different emotions relate to those. If you have seen, I've also put a picture at the start of this session with colorful vibrational things. And that's where colors also come in this play, in this picture, because a color is a certain level of frequency, a certain level of vibration as well. When you see red color, you see the wave is pretty much slower or a little maybe dense. When you see a higher colors like green vibration or blue vibration, or when you go up high to violet, you see the vibrational state is more higher or expansion happens. So if you see like generally most of alternative practices, be it yoga or meditation or even nutrition, a lot of these practices somehow tries to bring our system physiologically, mentally, emotionally, electrically from a contracted state. You can call this a negative state or a negative emotional state to an expanded state where we become or where we expand to a better version of ourselves, where expansion happens. That is also a space. So one thing that I say or that I share while I teach yoga is we stretch, we make the body somehow stretch in different ways. And a lot of people think this is to become more flexible. So flexibility is actually one of the slightest or the mini benefits. But as we expand, we are creating intercellular space. Actually, we are making up a space between cells. For example, if you see when we sit long hours in the office, in the computer, we're making our system contracted, compressed, somehow dense. So every time when you expand, when you walk, when you breathe, there is a whole lot of process that makes your system expand at the cellular level. So the cells will expand as well. So emotions, as you can see, can be quantified. For example, you can find acceptance at level 350, hope at 310, fear is down there. Actually, they were quantifying even our global state. Our Earth is now vibrating or dominantly with the human vibration in a sense. We are around 200, a little surpassing that. And when you see it, even how the world is transforming in different ways, for example, all the natural disasters that we see are somehow outsourced from the human process as well. When there is a whole lot of fear on the planet, be it from COVID or be it from a natural disaster, we are somehow feeding that fear, which makes the planetary processes also to become more dense or more loaded or more in a way negative. That's why sometimes Earth also tries to rebalance itself. As they say, when someone is digging to mine, maybe in South Africa, Earth will shake somewhere in Philippines or Japan, trying to somehow reorganize itself in a way. So even Earth is a living being in a way, and how our emotional process is affecting the planet is also very much quantifiable. So this is basically one aspect of this process that we can pay attention to. So last but not least, I will just share one of the posters that I have actually in my house. I have it in my kitchen, I have it in my bedroom as a reminder of what are the different maybe activities and things that usually uplift me or raise my vibration as a human being, as well as what are the things that are maybe lowering my system. What are the things that I have maybe done knowingly or unknowingly that is making me a little annoyed or maybe feeling low. So these are like some lists that I have shared here with you that you can see. So usually we can find ourselves change in state instantly when we express gratitude. When you just express the feeling of thankfulness, gratitude, you instantly raise your vibration to a state that is more fulfilling, more alive, more healthy. The same with kindness, the same with love. Yesterday, we had a very powerful session with Vaibhav, one of our pranic healing teachers, how forgiveness really can affect a whole lot of our system, physiologically, mentally, emotionally. So forgiveness is also one of the powerful tools or inner technologies as we use to expand our inner state from the heart all the way to our physiology. So acceptance is one powerful way. Sunshine, they're even recommending a lot these days at the COVID time to take us at least few minutes of sunshine every day because the sun has a whole lot of states. Maybe you'll learn a lot about these aspects in terms of prana, in terms of energy. In pranic healing courses, maybe you can check some of the links, maybe Gautam will be sharing later as well, of how different energies from nature around us, be it from water, from sunlight, from even the earth, can really make our system always in a state of upliftment or empowerment. So walking in nature, as it puts it, breathing deeply. So like usually these times when we are like caught up with a lot of works to do, we forget to breathe. Of course, the breathing system is not as forgetful as maybe as most of us in a way. It doesn't say you're not giving me attention, so I don't breathe. I don't breathe. So still, the breathing happens without our conscious will. But if we add conscious will, conscious attention, the breathing also becomes optimized. So maybe at the end of this, we'll do some short breathing practice that can literally raise our vibration in a way. Yoga is there as well, laughing. So with laughter, this is something that I really love as an instant boost of human vibration. So as I teach my yoga classes, at the end of my session, I usually add laughter at the end. We do like a minute or two of laughter. Usually for a lot of people, especially newcomers in my session, feel a little weird. What is happening? Where am I coming here? A lot of people like laughing as crazy out of the blue. But instantly, our human brain actually doesn't know the difference between laughter coming from outside, be it joke or comedy, and then laughter coming from within. Like out of the blue, you can instantly or you can consciously just allow or trigger laughter. And once you start it, it can become also a natural laughter. And the nice thing is it becomes contagious. So when you love, someone can else can also share the love in the process as well. So that is one interesting thing that you can see in terms of laughter. And then smiling, hugging is a very powerful modality in terms of healing that you can see as well. And dancing, of course, when the body moves, the brain grooves, the heart improves as well. So movement is powerful. Grounding is, I don't know, one of the powerful things humanity has retreated away from, I feel, by adding this thing that we call shoe, a rubber thing that insulated our energy system, electrical system, away from the planet. Actually, today I'm here at the IOM. I'm actually like sneaking out just so that I'll be able to give this session here. And one thing that I was training them at the staff at the UN office is for the staff like to take time at least once in a while to do grounding, to just take their shoe off, find a natural place. It could be a like a open earth or a lawn or a grassy place, just to stand there like for 3 minutes. That really takes a whole lot of positive ions. So earth is negatively charged in a way. So every time when we stand barefoot on earth, we take a whole lot of stressful energies that are bothering us in a way. Or from one of my professions, which is architecture, when building is made, there is this thunder road that is put at the building, which is thunder is highly positively charged in a way, and that energy comes, and then if it's not grounded well, it can crush things, or maybe a person or a building. So through that road, you can direct that energy down to earth. So that grounds. But the same thing, we are also human electrical beings. We have a lot of electrical process. So we need to take time with earth. That's why people living in countryside, maybe walking barefoot, are relatively healthier because they usually ground. There's a lot of interesting scientific movies or documentaries on this. You can just even find earthing movies also becoming famous, an award-winning movie, something you can use. So the food is also affecting a lot of the way we interact within and without in terms of the frequency of different foods. That's why if you eat a lot of red meat, just be aware of that. At least how can you become a little low on that? If you consume a lot of processed foods or white sugar, how can you take it that easy? If you put a lot of medication, especially in the West, this is like one common thing. Like for headache, people pop medication. For anxiety, we pop medication. For this and that, every time we put any kind of chemical inside, we're actually affecting our biomolecular state, our energetic state by these chemistries. So taking it easy and maybe more focusing on the natural and the lighter and the optimal ways of approaching that. So you can just have a look at this so that you can see where you're doing well, where you can improve, where you can really optimize in a way. Good. So last but not least, as our time is going, I will just share with you maybe a practice. And this practice will more dominantly focus on breathing, as breathing is, as you see on the left, one of our powerful vibration raising tools. And we'll do a basic breathing practice. But before that, it's always good to move the body. So we're not going to do a 1 hour yoga session, but we can do something very simple and very fast. I actually challenge my yoga students. Sometimes they say, we are busy, we don't have time for yoga. I tell them, if you don't have 1 minute per day just to do this thing or to do something like this, it means you don't have time just to live. Why we basically live through the day if we don't have time for ourselves? Because that 1 to 3 minutes a day can affect the next 24 hours, I mean, the next 23 hours in a big way. Because low vibration means low interaction with people, low feeling, low sleep, low engagement. Everything can be low in a way. So take time, at least 2-3 minutes a day, just to focus and boost your system. So this is what I call the body shake time. So it's going to be a little funny time as well. I usually do it with kids when I teach kids yoga also. So, but it can be done anything. Actually, becoming a kid or accessing your kid self is also something that raises your vibration. And something that I have also maybe as something you can see, I have baby pictures on my phone as a screensaver. So every time I see kids smiling, babies smiling, that is one thing that raises your vibration, because kids are usually in their high vibration states. As we grow older, as we age, or maybe as we get adults, sometimes we feel we happen with long faces because we feel we're trying to handle life, we're trying to win life, which instantly makes us against life in a way. Every time you say, I'm going to win life, I'm going to crush life, we're basically coming against life. How about we flow with life? That's what kids do in a way. So something that we can become kids in the next 1 minute. So if you can, I advise if you can stand up. So maybe I can make the screen out so you can have a look at me. So you can find a place so you can stretch. So you can all see me maybe? You can see me? Great. So you may not see the whole body, my whole body, but at least you can see the upper body. But what we can do is we're going to go from the lower body parts and then we keep going up. So on every body part, what we do is we're going to do something that I call the body shake. So we start with our feet so that you can see in the camera, this is my feet, and then I'm going to shake it. So shake your feet, right foot up, shake your right foot like this, right foot, shake, 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 and then change left foot, shake, 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 left foot is shaking, and go for your knees. So I'm going to stay on my chair now so that you can see. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm here. So gonna shake your knees, move your knees, shaking them. Shake, 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 and then go for the hips. This is going to be funny, eh? Shake your bum, shake your bum, shake your bum. Feel your bum, and then shake your upper body. We call this skis time in Ethiopia. Skis, 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 skis. And then shake your hands, shake your hands, shake your hands. Let your joints, let your elbows, let your wrists move. Shake, 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 and then move your shoulders. Let there be some sound maybe. Sound is also powerful. Very good. And the final will be the head. Move your head. Shake, 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 shake. And the last but not the least is the whole body move. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds, try to shake as many body parts as you can. Get shaky, get crazy, get dancey as you want. Good? We're going to start in 3, in 2, in 1, and then start getting shaky, getting moved. Let the body move around. Move your body, move your body. 5 seconds to go. 5 seconds. Very good. Shake, 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 shake. 3 more seconds. Smile and then maybe laugh. Woo! Very good. So 2 seconds. Take a full breath. And breathe out. Inhale fully. Exhale. One more time. Breathe out. Very good. So wherever you are, taking your time to relax. And we're going to take a moment, just the last breathing practice. This will be something that can give us a time within, a time with ourselves. So this breathing practice is something I also teach in yoga. In yoga, breathing practices are called pranayama. So prana is a life force, that essential battery we charge ourselves with. The same way we charge our phone with electricity, with power, we can do the same thing, charging our system with many things. Breathing is one of the most maybe instant in a way, or the one of the most powerful ones that we can deploy with an easy access without learning much maybe about things, because we breathe anyway. So we can as well make the breathing process much more inspiring, much more nourishing, much more like fueling in a way. So we'll take time for breathing practice. So I'll guide you into a very simple breathing practice that you can do anywhere, anytime, as you want. So what we do is we're going to pay attention to the breathing parts. So how many breathing parts do we have? Inhalation, one. Exhalation, another. Anything else? So usually these are the bold elements of breathing that we know, but we also have retention. We call them kumbhaka in yoga. So basically what they do is they allow us also to go a little deeper into the system. So in this breathing practice, we take a deep inhale and then we hold, we exhale, and then we hold again. So this is a very simple practice. So it's also called box breathing. You can learn more advanced versions of this breathing, like there is pranic breathing, which you can learn maybe in pranic healing courses. Again, that you can also explore through this links, maybe that will be shared. But essentially, this is one breathing practice that you can do anywhere, anytime at the basic level. So that will be the essential practice. We can practice this together. Good? So let's first, before we start, take a one full breath in and out. So taking a full breath in and out. So before we start, let's take a moment with our body. Let's check with our spine. If the spine is not stressed, usually people like sit like this. So this is basically making the spine abused or not in its optimal state. So make sure your spine is a little straight. Yeah, spine is straight. And then one area is the shoulders. Every time people are stressed, where does the shoulder go? It goes to the ears, right? People, this is like the deadline pose, as I call it. People, when they're in a deadline state, they somehow squeeze like this. So make sure you drop. Even you can usually literally use your hand to drop it down. We can do this together. Drop your shoulder. So this literally can at least make your state somehow calmer. Wearing a smile adds. So you can just have a smile that is maybe relaxing you as you practice this. So I see a lot of smiley faces. How beautiful is this? Wonderful. Great. So as we're there, we take a small, deep breath from the base of the belly so that we can take a deep breath. So we take a deep breath and then let the breath somehow fills the belly. So the belly is filling, and then let's hold the air there at the top and then exhale from the belly. Let every part of the breathing that you have taken come out. Breathe it out. Then hold at the base and then inhale again, feeling your system. Let the belly come out and then hold. And then exhale from the belly. Every air comes out. Feel the belly squeezing in. So the belly squeezes in and then inhaling. Then hold at the top. Exhaling. Fully breathe out. And then hold. Very good, you're doing wonderful. So let's add 2 more rounds with our own. If you can, make the breathing a little longer, a little stretched, so that the more breathing that is coming to the system, the more health, the more vitality, and the more vibration that you can raise. You can do this with your eyes closed as well. If you feel like it, when you close your eyes, don't squeeze your eyeballs, just let them be loose. Feel air deep. Very nice. So on the last breath, you can maybe try something different. You take a full breath in, and after you have taken a full breath in, you can hold your breath there. So hold and then maybe see if you can go maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds, anything. So see how you retain your breath and what happens in that state. So we're doing a breath retention. and maybe you can direct this air to any body part you want. If you have maybe an injury, an injured body part, if you have a body part that is maybe paining or you have sickness at, you can direct the air there, and you don't have to struggle. Whenever the body says, I want air, you can breathe. Very good. So you can come back. How are we feeling? How is the energy level? Beautiful. So basically, that was maybe a short session that I shared with you as I finish my session. So I'll just extend my gratitude for your presence here, for the time you took for yourself, which in turn is a time you have taken for the well-being of the planet. Because I believe every time we spend time for this state, this complex of human state or physical, mental, emotional state that we call ourselves, we are inputting, we are giving this state for the planet as well. The reverse is true. Being angry, being anxious, being stressed is also taking the state from the planet as well. So you're not doing these emotional states just for yourself, but know that you're doing this also for the planet. So this is something that I want to leave you with. And as I usually finish my sessions when I teach yoga or meditation, I have this state that I do. You can also, wherever you are, bring your hands together. So when you bring our hands together, we'll actually activating a whole lot of things. One is our right hand is synced to the left brain hemisphere. Our left hand is synced to the right brain hemisphere. So as we bring our hands together, we're creating synchronization of the brain hemisphere. So people may relate this as prayer or anything religious, but it's not, it got nothing to do with any kind of things like that. It's basically a scientific thing that you can study about or you can experiment with. As you do this, you can really feel a better state of calmness, especially if you bring your thumb at the heart center. So once you're having this, maybe during a smile, we can wish to ourselves and to the world something. So for today, let's wish a state of forgiveness, because we had forgiveness yesterday. We can continue with that. So let's wish ourselves or our thoughts to have forgiving thoughts, forgiving words we're wishing to ourselves, a forgiving heart, and a forgiving country, wherever you are in. For me, I'm in Ethiopia. I wish a forgiving Ethiopia. You can forgive, or you can intend a forgiving country where you are, and a forgiving continent. So for me in Africa, a forgiving Africa. And above all, I wish a forgiving world and humanity. I thank you so much for this session. So without further ado, I'll just pass the floor back to Gautam. And maybe if there are time or if there is time and if there are questions, I will be here just to reflect on some. Thank you so much. So back to you, Gautam.
Thank you so much, Happy. It was a fantastic session, very enlightening. And personally, I learned a lot with regards to, one thing that really struck me significantly was when you mentioned the ECG and the EEG between the heart and the brain. It reminded me of the meditation on twin hearts, which is the heart and the crown, which controls the brain.
Yeah.
And also the different frequencies of colors. I could really relate it with the color pranas we use for pranic healing. So thank you so much for this session, for sharing us your knowledge, wisdom, and your experiences also. And I would really like to thank everybody else who has joined us and all those on the Facebook stream also. Thank you. And yeah, if you have any questions for Happy, you can put it in the chat in the Zoom. In the meantime, we'd like to inform you that the next talks we'll be having will not be next weekend, but the weekend after that. And the next speaker that we have is also another a friend of mine from Ethiopia called Deborah. And she will be talking about a very interesting concept, I think, building on from what Happy was talking about, but talking about oneness and appreciation and gratitude. So it's nice that Happy left us on that note, and Deborah will pick it up from that note. Yeah, so thank you so much. In the meantime, Happy, I will give you a couple of minutes. You can answer some of the questions that come to you. So thank you all. As Happy said, thank you.